Before we get started here tonight on Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, I want to talk about one of our sponsors that support our network, Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive and keeping your faith and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're also looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call also. Call IO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrea and IO are just two people on a mission to help families build a legacy. The Utah Jazz still atop of the power rankings in NBA. The Nets seem like they're showing finally their potential. And also we'll dive into the All-Star starter selection. That and much more here on Fast Break on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for as all is sports. And you're welcome to join us live. And join us as you shall tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got a very loaded show for y'all today. The Blue Buds had a very solid weekend. We'll discuss that. The Lakers, are they going to have issues with Anthony Davis being out? Boston going out on a whimper. Have had a double-digit lead against Pelicans today. The Nets, are they going to come together? But that and much more. D-Lock, how you doing today, sir?
Everything's good, man. Definitely checking out these games. Very interesting game, clicking right as our show starts with the Nets and the Clippers. It's going to be something to watch. Now, Kevin Durant is not playing this game, so we're going to see what Kawhi is going to do. Also, see how much of a point guard James Harden is. And also we get to see Paul George in effect as well. So, interesting, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, and by the way, my Magic is playing the Pistons right now as well, which is a very tight game, 51-44. So, yeah, man, this is a good night of basketball.
Very good. Actually, a good day in basketball. You had a 3 and 4 matchup in college, between Ohio State and Michigan, that Michigan won. And, if you're Ohio State, you got nothing to be ashamed about that loss. I mean, it was a back and forth battle between those two teams, and especially rivals too. Rivals on top, trying to keep ahead, ahead of each other in the Big Ten race. And also you playing for that potential number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So a lot of tall games today, throughout the NBA. But first, Mr. Locke, the NBA All Stars was announced a couple days ago, and I gotta say, I was like quite surprised. Who came out as starters. Now, for those that know, who the starters are and all that stuff, I'll read them out to you right now. For the East, you got Kevin Durant as your captain, Giannis, Joel Embiid, Bradley Beal, and Kyrie Irving. So, Mr. Locke, I'll let you go first. What are your opinions of the Eastern starters being announced a couple of days ago?
I mean, for one, I think it was to be honest, I think the fact that Kevin Durant is back, just and how he's playing, is clearly going to be a comeback player of the year. But for him to be one of the starters, clearly, that's going to play a huge part. Because, like I said, he is coming back and he's been playing insanely great. Who else can I? The fact that Giannis is going to be there makes sense. Bradley Beal has just been on a tear, to be honest. And also to add on to that is Joel Embiid, who is somewhat of an MVP candidate. So for me, I think it's not a bad starting lineup. One person that obviously is up there that I probably would take out of starting lineup is Kyrie. I'm fine with everything else.
I don't know. The East, I saw that. I was like, okay, Joel Embiid. Okay, probably towards the end of the season, we'll probably talk about him in the MVP race with with LeBron, maybe Damian Lillard. I think I wish to add Donovan Mitchell with the MVP race, but I think with Utah, I think they're gonna have it's like gonna be like a team thing, and his name ain't gonna be brought up as much. But that's a discussion for down the road. Giannis, I mean, can't go wrong with him. No issue there. KD came back like he never left. Bradley Beal, I don't just think he wanted the starter material this year, in my humble opinion. Just my eyes. I don't think he's been playing great and stuff like that, but I felt like I'm trying to think who else in the East could be a starter, but I mean, maybe Trae Young, but I mean, he seemed like he ran him up to snuff. His name been kind of quiet, but I don't know. I just thinking it was like either him or Levine getting this spot.
Yeah, that's the person that I would. Go ahead.
And the other one probably be a bench player come this upcoming week being announced. But I'm on the same boat with you about Kyrie. When he's played and showed up, he's been fine. But is either he taking personal time off for whatever reason, that was early in the season, or he had injuries he's sitting out of. So to me, for him to be a starter, I was like, you really don't deserve it, dog. I'm sorry to say that. I'll put his teammate I would have put James Harden, but I think a lot of people kind of felt cold on him what he did early in the season.
In Houston, yeah.
I thought about Colin Sexton in there, but I think not quite yet with him. He's on the rise, but not quite yet. Maybe a bench player, we'll see, but not quite yet. And I was like, look, who else in the East? Maybe Trae Young, and then the team that you were very high on in the preseason. One Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
One Ben Simmons that, granted, averaging 15 points and 8 rebounds, 8 assists right now. But he's been playing very efficiently here recently. Playing very well. Game against the Bulls. I think he didn't play against the Bulls. So I think game before that, I think he had like 42 points. Close to a triple-double in that game. That's a guy right there. I was like, okay, if I had to pluck out one starter from the East, which would easily be Kyrie, boom, Ben Simmons, I'm plugging in for Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing exceptionally well. He has a huge part in the reason why Embiid is being thought of as an MVP race. I mean, look at how well they're playing. Did you see what Embiid did a couple of days ago without Ben Simmons?
That was amazing.
Yeah. So, but I think he's a person that be considered. Another person is Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that he's playing very, very well as well. So it seems like these are the pieces that they could have. So for them to go with Kyrie kind of was a head scratcher to me.
Yeah, and that's what the people voted for. I think this name and notoriety that he got in. Another thing I thought about considering, I know they go positionally is at these guard spots. Jaylen Brown.
Yes. I cannot believe I missed him out. Yep. That's another person. He's been playing very well.
I know the Celtics, have been kind of on a whoa here, like feeling down or something like that. But he's been strong through it all though. And I told you this from the Fast Break account, I think last week or something like that. Fred VanVleet is another thing I thought about as well. Not as a starter, but as a bench player.
Well, yeah, he's been playing very good as well. I mean, he's definitely earned the contract that he has. That he just signed for. He's been playing very, very good. That's another player that, to be honest, the Raptors kind of look like they need a little bit of help, but he looks like he's playing at the top level, man. I mean, if you look at what he's doing, he's helping Norman Powell look extremely well too.
Oh, Norman Powell, he's in the same boat with Terrence Ross, Patty Mills, Jeff Green, Terry Rozier, the dudes that you hate playing on FanDuel.
Yes, he'll click one day and then disappear the next day.
Next 3 games, I'm like, dude, man, you just dropped 36 the other day, and you come out having 5 points and 2 for 10 for shooting. Come on now.
Being real flat, yeah, that happens, especially with him.
But VanVleet has really kept that team afloat for Toronto. Like, Landry Kyle Lowry is missing time. Siakam. God, I hope he gets back right because he has a lot of potential. But he is kind of like, ooh, he ain't looking like that potential franchise guy that they signed a contract to. But VanVleet's been that consistent piece, for the Raptors that really kept them afloat where they're at right now at 15-15. But
right now, it seems right now as if Laurie has been injured. He's been injured a lot. So they're depending on Van Fleet a lot more. I'm pretty sure you've noticed we've seen Bembry, get a lot of playing time now. So he's been the leader of that team so far. Now, like you said, he's the one that's leading everything. That team, I'm kind of still in question of what they're doing with Chris Boucher because they'll play a lot, and the next thing you know, he's nowhere to be seen. So, but yeah, Van Fleet is, from what he's doing with that team, he earned that contract big time to me. And as far as he needs to be part of that, I wouldn't mind putting him as an all-star starter to me. If you ask me in the East.
Yeah, and stay on the top of Toronto real quick. Man, do you see that Anthony Edwards slam on, I'm trying to pull the dude's name, on Watabe?
Oh, yeah. I probably would have moved out the way.
I was like, ooh, no.
Yeah, you ain't finna post to me. Anthony Edwards was smiling after because he knew that he was about to be on some kid's poster for the next 20 years.
I said,
so
I saw that. I said, I gotta share that to you. I was like, damn, that sweet Jesus. I was like, woo.
Yeah, all the way up there like that. Like you got to be really bold to really sit there and think that you're gonna make that big of an impact. Somebody coming with that much momentum? Nah, bro. I'm not on that.
I know. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, no. I said, no, baby, no. So that's how I see, some of the names we brought out, I think we could see as reserves, like a Van Fleet for the, Jaylen Brown. Rookie rise, I don't think nobody will make it. No, LaMelo Ball, has kind of raised the play of that Hornet team. But I think he's like a year or so away to be considered in my eyes. And I know y'all in the chat, y'all don't like LaMelo and the Ball family like that. But, I mean, when you got somebody...
He's been balling.
He's been balling. And you got somebody, top three, you expect him to change your franchise. And, he has done that along with Gordon Hayward. So that's somebody I would consider as a dark horse, as a reserve. But, I doubt it, but we'll see. Probably see him in the skills challenge and stuff like that.
He'll be a part of. I think he'll definitely be a part of. Now he's playing so well. See, he's kind of making an impact on LaMelo a little bit. You can see LaMelo, not LaMelo, Lonzo. He's trying to play a lot better. He's trying to play a lot better too. So, but yeah, he's playing very good right now. I wasn't expecting him to surge that fast, to be honest with you. Not this early.
And then, real quick, we'll go to the West stars. LeBron, one of the top vote getters. He's the captain for that side, along with Kawhi Leonard, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry, who, along with Van Fleet, has kept his team afloat. And then Luka Doncic as well.
So, the person that I feel like Kawhi hasn't, I think he's in a similar boat than Kyrie. I think that was we know who Kawhi is, but he hasn't. I don't believe he's played to be a starter. On All-Star in the West. It's just for me, I feel like he's, obviously who he is, but to be a starter this year, I disagree with that. I mean, obviously, I think it's clear that Dame should have been a starter.
I definitely agree.
I feel like. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking you brought that up. You probably take out Kawhi because I know they go by the two guards and the two forwards and the big man, something like that system right there. you could not put Luka as that forward position. I know he handles the ball like that, but he's more like a point forward. And they should have put Dame as that starting point guard in a sense for the West.
Yeah. Well, you could have. Where did they got LeBron started at 3. You could have put him at. You could have moved him to the 4 with Jokic, and then maybe put Luka at the 3, and then boom, now you got Steph and Dame, your 2 guards. So it could have went, those ways, but it just, that's the biggest snub I think out of all of this is Dame. I feel like if they was going to ask Luka those questions about Dame being a starter, they should have asked Kawhi the same question, or the other guys. We clearly know what Jokic has been doing. You ain't worrying about him. You spoke on Steph. He's holding that team. And we know LeBron is on a similar level or pace as with Embiid as far as the MVP race. So, the only 2. Now, I feel like it's the one question is Kawhi and Luka, but Luka's been playing pretty solid as well. But if I had to choose between the 2, it had to be the Kawhi. Hasn't really done anything. So, still approaching it like he did last year. As far as, hey, we're just going to go through the season and then get the clicking around later on in the season in playoff time. So, but yeah, that's the biggest shock out of all of this, to be honest.
Yeah, I think all the stars were on par. Like I said, you get Ari Kawhi, who missed a lot of time. Now, granted, yes, the Clippers are tied with the Lakers for second in the West behind Utah. So I don't know if it's like, we know Kawhi matters, but it's like a testament of how good, Ty Lue has done a great job, with this team. Time will tell, with that. And I want to shout out to chat real quick. Andrew Herrenball, how you doing tonight, sir? Terry Rodriguez, what's good with you, sir? Larry B in the chat also. Now, I want y'all to get y'all guys thought in the chat. Who are y'all starters? And who y'all think should be reserves, which should be out announced later on this week, on this upcoming Thursday. So give me y'all's thoughts on that. But yeah, D-Lock, I think Dame should have got that consideration. I can't think of nobody else in the West who I'll put over the over Kawhi, in my humble opinion.
That's just the biggest. That's the biggest. But see, this is so. I think a lot of these picks are just basically, who the most, just kind of like a popularity vote a lot of the time. So for me, I get that, I guess, but we'll hear it again. It's the same thing with the NFL Pro Bowl. We were seeing players that got in that just because who they are, they continue to get, nominated or put in the Pro Bowl, and some people are getting snubbed. So it's worse for the NBA because it's obviously a lot less, people going to the All-Star game. So, yeah, some of the stuff is not surprising, but that Dame, he's doing the same thing that he's doing the same thing that Steph is doing with CJ McCollum out.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically pushing Gary Trent to be a hell of a player right now too. So, yeah, man. I don't know how they can, how they're gonna push that or change it.
Do you, sticking to All-Star talk real quick, do you agree with them doing this year in Atlanta? Because they originally were going to do it in Indianapolis, but they kind of backed off that, and then the NCAA kind of will come back this year and do their March Madness all in the state of Indiana in general, because reports are saying like canceling last year, They lost out on billions of dollars. So I know they won't miss that again. But do you agree with the NBA doing this year? And not David Stern, Adam Silver saying, they need to do it. And you got some of the top players saying like, it won't feel the same.
Well, remember we had this talk about, they kept saying that this was a players league. Remember we was talking about that months ago? This doesn't look too much like a players league anymore. I mean, there's still some things that they agree on and such, but I believe I believe at one point they had a discussion about this, and they were saying, okay, they're not going to have an All-Star game, and now they're trying to kick back and say that they are going to have it. So, to me, things are changing, right? I don't think they should have it. I mean, understand that money is make the world go round, as everybody says, but you've already cut the schedule short, the schedule short. You took some games away to bring it back on a specific pace. Why are you going to do that? Because now we do know that you can handle, being quarantined and all that other stuff, but why continue to risk that? I'm at the point to where I'm getting tested every couple of days. Having a rapid test, really tested. I've seen at my job, people say, hey, somebody tested positive a couple of days ago, so we're gonna stay away from the office a week, clean and have everybody quarantined. Like this is the norm right now. So you have to make your adjustments, and I feel like postponing it would have been the bright idea. So it's the same thing right now with the Olympics. I'm not sure if a lot of people have been hearing, but at first the Olympics weren't going to happen, or it was going to happen, and now people were saying, well, they don't think it's going to happen, and then they got somebody else come out and say, oh, well, no matter what, they're going to have the Olympics. So we do know that we have to make adjustments to what's going on right now, but we know that they're doing this for the money aspect. And, LeBron was one of the bigger voices that out there say, he don't really want to be a part of it, or he feels some type of way about it. And he's going to go out there and play, but he's not going to keep that same energy, right? We talked about how much of a players league it is. Now they're doing things that's not such of a players league. So you got to kind of nip that in the bud, and you got to voice your opinion. And now, like the players are going to have to step up and start doing things and discussing things and, kind of holding their feet to the fire. So, but I mean, we'll see. I really don't agree with it, to be honest. But there's a lot of things that we do at work that we don't want to do sometimes, man. And, I guess that's one of the rules. So, but I'm pretty sure they'll get around it. They'll figure out how to get around it.
Yeah, let me go to the chat real quick. Taryn saying, they shouldn't play this year, especially not in Atlanta. I think location is cool. Atlanta's cool. Me and you both been through Atlanta, all that stuff. So, hopefully, nothing crazy happens and stuff like that, during that weekend. But, way, how the league is, I think they'll keep things tight and stuff like that. But we'll see. I think the energy won't be there, in my opinion. I think a lot of these leagues sometimes kind of gauge the NFL, how they do things about, and, with the Super Bowl, having that limited capacity and stuff like that, and stuff like, all that stuff going on. And then all the, the pregame stuff they had, beforehand, Miley Cyrus performing and stuff like that, the weekend performing. I think the NBA had, kind of accelerate that NBA's idea to go ahead and do the show or have the event. I don't think they'll have no performer, during halftime, because they're doing everything around halftime this year. But You know, is it the best thing? I don't know. I mean, Terry saying in the chat, Atlanta is cool, but the rise of COVID. I just say this, Terry, and I'm pretty sure D-Hawk will agree with me. The South, I mean, compared to California, New York, and other areas that are more liberal, the South, I don't know. We just everybody kind of do their own thing.
Yep. Kind of separate with it.
Black or white, they do their thing. Mask, no mask. There's folks I see on social media. I was like, out in the club and stuff like that. No mask, all caught up and they're doing their thing.
For real. I mean, that is 100% true.
If they get the COVID, I mean, they probably cry about it. But, compared to other places, like you brought up the Olympics, Japan is very strict on that stuff. I'm pretty sure when the Olympics happen this year, they're going to be very strict. They don't play about that. Here in the States, kind of like every man for himself. So I think these guys know the risk and stuff like that. They know not to do nothing crazy or not get seen getting caught. So, time will tell how things shake out.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'll say this, and I guess I have my last thought about this. And like I said, you'll probably agree too. Listen, the one place that you do not probably want to have a lot of people at down south is Atlanta, because there's so much to do there. So again, they went to Orlando. Hey, quarantine. Everybody stayed up in the crib and didn't do too much stuff. Okay, cool. How about you take Orlando and you maximize it by 10? That is Atlanta. Now, mind you, they're not staying as long, but we're talking about a city that literally never doesn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, like, there's so many different things. We just heard about Mr. Lemon Pepper Lou. Have we forgot about that? So that was where? In Atlanta. So we're talking about, like I said, a scenario where, again, a big city, a lot to do. And I'm pretty sure these guys know this. They got to. Just heard, like I said, again, Lemon Pepper Lou was just in trouble about it early last year or late last year, not even a year ago. So, yeah, I mean, it like I said, we will see what happens. But again, I don't think these guys are going to just go crazy. But I do believe that, again, we'll hear some news as far as somebody going out or doing a couple of things. But I think they'll be able to manage. But again, we're not talking about somewhere in Maine. We're talking about basically the heart of Georgia. You ask anybody from Georgia where they're from, we're just talking about McDonald and all these other places, Smyrna, all these other spots. You ask them where they're from, they can live in those spots. What are they going to say? Oh, we stay in Atlanta. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big city. Hopefully things can go, pretty well. We just actually also, didn't LeBron is playing Atlanta had an issue with a fan there?
Yeah. Oh, trust me, the league ain't gonna let nothing happen like that happen again.
Nah, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But it's the fact that, like I said, this stuff is another big city. So we'll see what happens. But I expect for them to act accordingly.
So we'll put a bow on that. I think we'll see how All-Star Weekend shakes out, for the league, and I think it'll be cool, but it won't have the same energy like it has been, especially after last year's game too, which is that last 10 minutes or so was very wild. So we get something in the magnitude like that, then we're sitting pretty in terms game wise. But before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about one of our other sponsors here on iSports Sports Radio. Mom is Always Right Media. Are you feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork? Those essays keep you up at night? Don't lose sleep. Just pick up the phone. Mom is Always Right Writing Agency will give you quality essays, and we will always make our deadlines. Sleep soundly knowing that we are on a job. For more information, call 626-653-3649. It go down in the PM. Make sure you check out the new episode of it. It goes down in the PM. Brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. Coffee After Dark. Don't miss the next chapter of your favorite love story. Check out season 2 premiere of Coffee After Dark, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. The Sports Rundown. Are you a sports fan but have too much going on in your life? These days, to keep up with the 24/7 sports news cycle, or maybe you're just new to sports and want to understand the nuances better. If so, then the Sports Rundown is for you. We are a new podcast that will give you basic professional and collegiate sports news, stats, tidbits, and fun facts by the time you get to work. Start the second cup of coffee or finish walking the dog. Enough information to make you dangerous while talking about current sporting events, and we will teach you something fun along the way. Like about mascots, uniforms, history, feel-good stories, and sports rules. We even cover the Premier League. New episodes drop every Monday and Friday mornings, so give us a listen. So do give them a look tomorrow morning. Before we got on the air, Mr. Locke, we talk about the Lakers. AD's out right now for 4 weeks with an Achilles injury. And the Lakers front court, which was already kind of thin as it is more thin now. Do you foresee the Lakers making a move before the deadline? I know there's whispers about them entertaining Mo Bamba. And we talk off air a lot. I think that's me personally, I think that's a play that you got to look at very hard. But they also Boogie, who's, potentially be released here in a couple days. Steven Silas said, he hadn't heard no rumors on that, but I think he's pretty sure it's going to be released. So, do you see the Lakers making a move trade-wise to shore up that front court?
I think they do. Right now, it's just it's kind of like the biggest thing is with Anthony Davis. Okay, let's talk about this injury. It's kind of similar to what we heard about Kevin Durant last year around NBA Finals, a couple years ago around the NBA Finals. I think this is something that they need to watch out for. This can cause, more problems not only at the end of this year in NBA around playoff time, but even next year. So I believe that they're going to watch out for that. That is something that, need to be monitored. As we see from the last time, they brought him back entirely to earth. So for me, I'm expecting them to, monitor that. And also now you have the health protocols with Dennis Schroeder. They say he's going to be out there. They say he's going to be out, at least 3 games? Or was it 3? It was either 3 games or 3 weeks.
I think it's for a few games.
It's for a few games, right? Okay. For me, I think that they're going to make a move because Marc Gasol has just been a statue. He's not done anything. To be honest with you, he's doing 2 things, standing and getting fouls. So for me, I think that they try to find somebody else. Now, Trez is playing outstanding to me. I think that he needs to get the minutes. So I think they do make a move. They are, like you said, they did talk about the fact that they were talking about Mo Bamba. But now this news about Boogie, if he's gonna get released or parting ways with Houston, and I think we'll probably touch on that situation. But if he's gonna part ways, that's a big man that you can kind of look into, talking to bring him back. I thought he was a match made in heaven there, but then obviously, the killer, the ACL tear, now we don't even see what he can do there with him. So, for me, now I think that they do make a push at somebody, but I think it's going to be geared towards Boogie because, Boogie is on the street compared to having to give up some picks possibly and maybe a player for Mo Bamba.
I think when we talked before we got on the show, I think, with Mo Bamba is like, Magic really never gone all the way with him. Yeah, I tweeted that from the Fast Break account on Twitter. They never really gone all the way with him. I know they got Vooch in the fold, but you got to where you were at that time, to get that player. And you got to see the value in return you get. Now, if he's on the market, can you get a first round pick back for him? It's hard. It's tough to say. It's really tough to say. But if you're a Laker team, and Anthony Davis don't like playing center or the 5 position like that, maybe trying to coax the Magic to give up this young man to kind of be that 12 and that double figure type of big man that the Lakers need. You're not going to ask him to be the main scorer. Just clean up the glass, use your length to affect shots, average at least about 2 blocks a game, average at least about 12 rebounds a game, and just do your job. And plus, you be in LA as well. But
haven't we talked about the fact? I mean, not haven't we talked about, but haven't we seen this story before with the Magic and Lakers and centers? Yeah. So this seems like something that is just made to happen. It's got Dwight and Shaq. I'm not surprised if they went and made a move at Mo Bamba. Then Mo Bamba turns into this great player that again the Magic had and we gave to somebody else. So. For me, like I said, I think that that is a piece that they could go for, and also you can build with. So you could tag him with AD and AD for a while. So, but obviously, I think they'll make some bigger moves. But again, another spot that's been in question with them is the guard position. We haven't seen too much from Wesley Matthews yet. Too much in KCP. Now you talk about somebody that's on FanDuel that is like aggravating to play.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even waste your time even picking that dude.
I don't. I love Quinn Cook. Let's see, where's he saying? I think he said if they're not giving up Quinn Cook and some picks, it's not worth breaking up the core. But I'll give up Alex Caruso and some picks. Give up a couple second rounders, Alex Caruso, and maybe throw in that McKinney dude. If the Magic bite on that, and feel like Mo Bamba ain't the future, hey, I'll do it.
Yeah, right now as long as you're not giving up your core, you're going to be fine. And I ain't going to lie to you, the Magic is a team that will fall for that booby trap. So Again, this is something that teams, the Lakers know what they need. Trez is a great player with the second unit, so I don't think you want to move him yet. So I mean, it's something that we have to monitor. When's the trade deadline again?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's March.
March 7th?
March 25th.
Oh, they got a while then.
So yeah, they got a little while on that. So, we'll see how things shake up in that market for the Lakers, and can they find something in the short term or maybe something in the long term to shore up that front court. But real quick, going around the NCAA real fast, we talked about at the top of the show that Michigan and Ohio State had a great battle. Michigan winning 92-87 against Ohio State. So the Wolverines staying 16-1. They got 22.
They're looking good.
They're looking good. Got 22 points from Dixon, freshman. 7-1. That big low post guy, played very well. Ohio State got 30 from Washington Jr. So, he played very well today. Liddell, 23-10, 3 for 5 for three-point land. Guy that's really coming along great in his college career. Let me ask you this. Let's go to Alabama and Vanderbilt game. I'll thought about tweeting this. I may tweet this from the account. I don't know yet. But Scottie Pippen Jr. for Vanderbilt this year is averaging about 21 points a game, 5 assists. I know Vanderbilt ain't been up to snuff this year. Do you think he should come out this year's draft, or maybe him along with Daishu for Vanderbilt, which is about 15-10?
Yeah.
Do you think those two guys should come back with a stronger Vanderbilt team and try to, play better as a team record-wise? Because they're playing pretty decent, Vanderbilt has, but they just lost a lot of close games. But do you think those two guys should come back for next year or go in the draft this year?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is where they're projected. So, the fact that they're, where they projected it is the biggest deal to me. Now, we being honest, you could make a chase for getting deep up in the tournament next year with a deeper squad. But, depends on the goals as well. But getting the chance to chase the title, because again, like next year, what's going to happen is, your draft stock is going to go up. But we're used to really seeing players leave the first year, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're used to that. We're used to seeing players get up out of there as soon as they have that high projection. So for me, it just depends. Like if they are projected a high, high projection, then yeah. But it's not going to hurt you to come back really if all it's going to do is really move everything up for you. So, but again, we got to look at how deep this team looks and the chances of them actually winning the title. But it also means that you got to not be so, I guess, you got to kind of put your personal goals to the side and go with the team goals.
So, yeah, I was thinking about they've been playing great. Those two guys have been playing great, but Vanderbilt, hadn't been up to snuff. So we'll see on that. And then the Blue Bloods, Kentucky winning big against Tennessee. So they 8-13. but I think a good confidence win to go into the ACC tournament here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, big time.
Kansas having a great game against Texas Tech yesterday. Illinois beat the crap out of Minnesota, 94-63. Oklahoma beating Iowa State, 66-56. Let me ask you this about Iowa State. And I talked about this in the Crook process 2 years ago. Steve Prohm was like a hot name you can get in college basketball. You talking about a guy that, pick up the baton from Fred Hoiberg and continue the success there. Now this year at Iowa State, they 2-16. Do you foresee him still having a job after the season? Because I can't see a scenario that he has a job after the season unless his buyout that is too much for Iowa State to handle, and he's brought back another year.
Yeah, that record is atrocious. So for me, I definitely would. I don't see it, just because the fact is you can't have that big ass drop. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. There's questions that need to be answered regarding that. But yeah, I do. So like these teams, these universities, they make moves quick on the players that they have, the coaches or players that they have, and that's just too much of a drop off for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta at least be more competitive, and then you're gonna lose players, and then how is recruiting going? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff that record affects. So, but nah, this might be, as they say, as boys and men say, this might be the end of the road for him.
Yeah, and this is a guy I wanted in Alabama 2 years ago. He was like top of my list. Besides, maybe taking a swing at Patino, but I don't think that was gonna fly. But he was the hottest of hot candidates. But the drop off, I was like, damn, how you go this hot successful and then kind of had this drop off this year? But now going back to yesterday's action, Duke beating Virginia by 1. So another momentum win for a Blue Blood. Let's see. Michigan State, they won yesterday as well against Indiana. So on the Blue Bloods, they got some, morale victories yesterday. Can they build off of that? For their lost seasons, we shall see.
Those are big games. I mean, big wins that they got. So, at this point, we talked about it early in the season, or earlier this year, we're talking the fact of going into the March Madness, you want to get in that groove. And that's what some of these Blue Blood teams are doing. So this year has already been, last 2020 and this year so far has been a lot of shocking things. It's going to get very interesting, bro. Like, very interesting.
I think, if some of these Blue Bloods don't make the tournament, I don't think the NCAA will trip as much because they just have all the games in Indiana. So I mean, if like a Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State don't make the field, then I don't think they won't trip this year because everything's in one central location. And you throw in North Carolina also.
Yeah.
But come next year, maybe more travel going on and stuff like that. They gonna want those teams to be better, or some tomfoolery be going on to get these teams, where they want to be. And then just swing out to the Pac-12 real quick. Arizona, well, they ain't making no tournament anyway because they got sanctions, but they beat USC 81-72. Oregon won against Utah 67-64. But the big matchup for the big Pac-12 is tomorrow on the FS1, USC, Oregon. Real quick, can USC, win this game and kind of, I guess, keep their momentum going, or Oregon, who's kind of quiet and stuff like that, they make the upset, against this team?
I think that USC is just, in a position where they are clicking. I think Oregon could, but this rival game is going to be huge. This is one of those games that, like I said, we just talked about. You want to get in the right groove, and once you're clicked on everything, the chemistry is there. There's no stopping. So this game is probably bigger for USC than Oregon. So we're going to have to see, USC take control and show, why they're the better team. Anything is possible, of course, but I don't see USC losing this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think USC will pull out the win. This Kenny Mobley Brothers contain, Eugene Amoroyu down low. So if they can contain him, get him in foul trouble and stuff like that, I think they'll go a long way for them winning that game come Monday night. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our show tonight. Thank you for tuning in with us here on IE Sports, Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can definitely find me at Black-813 on Twitter and Instagram. And you'll see me retweeting, a bunch of stuff about basketball. Still celebrating the Bucks win, but yeah, that's where you guys can find me. They don't know they can find you at now.
You can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. Also, I do another podcast on the side named The Crooks Process. You can find me on there on Facebook and Instagram. Do follow us on Fast Break at IESR. That is Fast Break IESR. Also, check out the website, iesportsradio.com. And also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Please do give us a follow there. And also on .com. Buy the merch. Got a lot of great stuff on there. Cups, mugs, t-shirts, all the works. So check out the website and buy some stuff. And shout out to our sponsors that keep our show going. So I salute y'all. And we'll continue to show y'all support. If you're on iSportsRadio.com, let's whine about sports with Mike Pat. We'll be on immediately after us. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. We out.
Peace.